Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. My name's Tracy and I'm going to show you in this tutorial how to do this. This is for me a seat cover. It's going to be what I've affectionately called a cush for my tush. Where I'm sitting making my tutorials or doing live streams, it's quite uncomfortable. So I'm making a memory foam cushion and this is the cover for it. So I understand that not many people would want to do a full cushion cover tutorial, so I'm just going to show you how to make this square. Now I'm using DK weight yarn and I'm using, for the variegated, I have Robin Paint Box DK, and for the solid colour it's a very good match. I'm using this DK from Sainsbury's, which is another a supermarket in the UK, but you can use any yarn that you want to use for this. Now I recommend using a DK because otherwise you get a much fatter stitch, and I quite like it. It looks the rib looks nicer, I think, just using a smaller yarn, but I don't really want to go any smaller than with like using a DK. I'm also using a 4.5mm crochet hook. I don't know why, but my picture keeps moving, and I'm using the 4.5. I don't really want to go any smaller because it does become quite tight, and I don't know if you noticed, but as you go, I think it's because I'm using different yarns, but as you go around it does kind of pull in, but if you pull up your stitches it does stay nice and square. It does pull over because of this ribbing on the other side, these ridges rather. So I'm going to show you how to make it, and my centre square was with this variegated yarn. Now you can use any yarn you want. I do recommend using the same yarns for the simple reason that it will stay more even if you do. So I just need to find my end, which is easier said than done in some cases. This one's pulling out from the centre on that side. Just bear with me once. It was pulling out from the wrong centre, but it managed to come all the way out the right side. So how I'm going to do this now, you can do this with the centre with the magic ring, but I've used a circle as my centre because you will have at the corners this little kind of opening, and I think it adds to the pattern if they all kind of emanate from the centre. But you can have a smaller hole if you use the magic ring. So I just need to move this one out of the way. I don't want to tangle them up. And move that yarn completely out of the way. That's it. So yeah, I'm going to start with a slip knot, which you can do however you would like to make your slip knot. But how I was taught was simply to make a ring, go behind it and pull the yarn through, and you've made your slip knot. You need to aim down just a little bit. There we are. And I'll zoom in a little bit as well. So I'm going to make a chain of 5, and to do that it's simply yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through another 2 times. So I've got 5, and I'm going to make a ring. This loop doesn't count, so you can count them. You've got 5, and this is the first one that we started with. So I'm going to insert my hook and yarn over and pull through both loops, and I've now made a ring by slip stitching into that first stitch. So now I need to chain 2, and that gets me up to the height of the stitches that I'm using, which is a UK treble crochet, or in the US it's a double crochet. And the first part of this is the same as any traditional granny square, where I need a cluster of 3, and these 2 chain count as my first. So I'm going to yarn over, go into the centre of that ring, yarn over and pull up, so I have 3 on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's a UK treble crochet or a US double, and I need 1 more. So that's yarn over into the centre, yarn over and pull up, 3 on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So there's my first cluster of 3. I'm going to chain 1, and now I'm going to make 3 more. It's all in the center ring. This is just the way that we make a traditional start to a granny square. So there's nothing new here at all. But if you are a new crocheter and you need to pause the video to catch up, then please do. So now I've got 2 sets of 3, and I'm going to chain and do another set. And 1 chain, and I need 4 sets of 3 altogether. So I'm going to chain 1 and do 3 more, but I'm not going to chain after this group. I'm going to make this seamless so that it looks even all the way along. And how I do that is, there's my first chain of my first stitch, and there's the second. I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, and I'm going to now do, in the UK, a double crochet, in the US a single, by yarning over and pulling through both. So I still have this gap the same size as all of these gaps, but I'm in the center of it. So I'm going to chain 2 to get me up to the height. Now our corners, this is where things get different. On a traditional granny square, your corner would be 3 treble crochet, 1 chain, 3 treble crochet. Of course, that's double in the US. But we're going to have 2. So now I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to go into that gap between our clusters and do 1 more treble crochet. So with my 2 chain, simulating my first stitch, and this one, that's my 1/2 of a corner, because each one of these gaps will be a corner on this round. So here's our first stitch of our previous row, which were the 2 chain. I'm going to do a front post stitch around those. So I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to go down here and around that stitch, all the way around it. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull my yarn around it and up. It's important that you pull up to get up to the height, otherwise it will drop down, it will sag down. So now we're going to complete our stitch. So we've made our first front post stitch, and I'm going to do that in every stitch. So when you're making a mosaic granny or twisted granny or whatever you want to call them, you just do this in the center stitch. But I'm doing it in all of them, because this is a solid granny square in a way. Pull it up and complete my stitch. So now I have all 3 of those done as a front post. I'm going to do my first full corner, which is yarn over into that gap, and do my first UK treble, US double, and my second 1 chain and 2 more. That's how we're going to do every corner. Excuse me, should have got a drink. So now I'm going to do my cluster of 3. All of them will be my front post. So I'm going around that stitch, pulling up and completing it. Need to pull out some more yarn. That's better. And I'm going to go into the next one. Same way. Pull up. And then my next one. Pull up. Now I'm back at the corner. So I'm going to make my corner as I did the last one with 2. I think that quite went right. I'll do that again. One chain and 2. Oops, I got tangled. If I just leave it there for a second, this is how it should look. You have your corner, and then you've got these 3 front posts into the row below, and then you've got your corner. So now I'm going to do my front posts again. So I'm going in there and around my first stitch, yarn over, and don't forget you must pull up so that we're at the right height. And again, the next one, you can see them with this variegated yarn, makes it a little easier to see them. And as such, I'm going to continue. I'm not going to change colour like I did with my seat cushion. But of course, if you did, I would show you how to do it. If you wanted to change colour, how and where. So I'm doing my corner now, just as I did before. Now I have my last side to do. I'm going in my first front post. And there's my second. It helps to move them out of the way. And my last one here. So if you look at it now, you can see that this looks different to how it used to before when we were going round, because this is the first half of our corner. So you can always recognise it by the fact that there's this. So now I'm going to complete my corner by doing 2 more. There's my first 2, and there's my second 2. And now I'm going to join my corner with, again, a UK double crochet or a US single. And at this point, if I was changing yarn, I would insert and pull up my yarn, and I would bring my new colour through and complete that with my new colour. But I'm going to carry on with this variegated yarn for this demonstration. So I'm going to chain my 2, and then my next chain. You have to pull it aside a little bit because it is just a small gap, so you need to make sure you're going, there's your 2, there's your 2, that you're going in this gap to make your treble crochet. Or double crochet if you're in the US. Now we're going around the corner stitches as well as these. So this is our first one. We're going to go and do a front post around our corner below. And that's how we're going to increase as we go. So there is the second one of our previous corner. So that's just an ordinary stitch. Pull up. And now we're going around the ones that we've already done, which I find easier to just go through the side like this. And I hold it like this. And then I can just, with my finger, get my next one in line. But don't forget, you must pull up between them. So there's the last one of the 3 that we did previously. And the next 2 that we're going to do are this side of our corner. So again, we are going round that stitch just as before. Pull up a little and going in this one. And pull some more yarn. So now we've done half the corner there. We need to make our corner. So we're going to just do a corner as we would normally. One chain and 2. If I go too far ahead, just pause and catch up with me. And now we're going to go all the way along. So this obviously is our corner from previously, so the previous round. So we're going to go round those, pull them up. Second one, pull it up. And now we're going through the 3 of our sides that we've already gone through once. Making sure we pull up a bit so that we keep that same height and it doesn't dip down on us. It will do that a little bit in any case. It's just the nature of this stitch. And now we're at the corner again from the previous round. So we're going to go into this one. The same as before, pull up, and then we have the red one there, see that pink one rather? Just go around that one. And now we're at the corner, so we're going to make our corner. 1 chain. You don't want a very big chain, overly large gaps. Now we're at the other side of our previous corner, so we're going to go in those two. And so I hope you see now this pattern forming. I'm trying to go as slow as I can. It's difficult when you're normally used to going at a certain pace to try and slow down. But see, it's easy just to push it across the side into that back when it's already got a front post stitch in it. Now we're at the next corner, so we're going around these. So every row you will gain more front posts at the corner edges. Ooh. And now we have to make the corner. One chain and the corner. Now, as this is a little intricate, I'm not pausing the video at all and meeting you at the end of rounds because it's helpful to see it. But if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll be informed when there are new videos and new content. There'll be quite a lot coming. I have lots of ideas of things to do, but unfortunately it takes me longer to make them than it does to dream them up, which is always the way. So we just keep going along our side. The good thing about the variegated yarns is that there's all these colours that you can pick out from it, but do try your best to take care to choose the same thickness. Some DK, well, I would say that not all DKs are created equal, and not even in the same yarn are all colours created equal. Sometimes they come up thinner, which is a bit strange. So there we are, we're back at the corner again. There's our 2 that we've already made. So I need to do 2 more for this side. Whoopsie. It's because I've got a camera in between. So now there we are. That's what our square's starting to look like. And I think it looks kind of cute. So I'm going to go into this stitch and do my UK double or US single crochet for my corner. And there we are. We've made the whole of our first, well, it is our first round really, although this is the 3rd round we're doing. This was our first round of making, actually it was 1, 2. Anyway, so now we're going to do another corner. So we're going to chain 2, go into that same gap that comes from, make our treble crochet or double. And now we're going to go all the way along. So we're going to go in the previous corner ones, just the same as before, which have not already had the front post stitches in them. Not forget, you must pull up. And now we're going to go all the way along our row of front post stitch. Pull out my yarn again. Does seem to use a fair amount of yarn, so obviously just make sure you've got enough for your project. And I'm going to just do, I was toying with the idea of doing the other side of my cushion similar to this but with purple, so that I would be able to change colour by turning it over. But I think I might just do a plain back to it in this the solid colour. I think that didn't go according to plan, so I'll undo that one and redo it. Don't forget to pull up a little. You will start to see the dip in as you go further round. Staying with the same yarn, I found makes less of a dip, but still does it nevertheless. And at the corners it starts to look like it points, but when it's stuffed with my cushion it won't look like that at all. Be pulled into place. It's because it's not. Left to its own devices, it's kind of curling and pointing at the corners. So now I've just made another corner, and I'm going to go all the way along this side now with another row of front post stitch. It does look better when you're changing yarns. It adds a little something, I think, to it. But it's easier, I think, to see with this yarn. It's strange because normally variegated yarn's harder to see, but because it's variegated, I think with this it's a little easier to see them. All the way along. And now every round will be exactly the same. So it's just a variation really on the mosaic granny or twisted granny, because this is just a solid one rather than doing some of the stitches. We're doing all of them. Now we're at the corner, so we just make our corner the way we have been. And we're going to go around the previous row's corner, which is here. It's hard to see with the camera in the way. If I'm wearing glasses, I think it makes it harder. If I was looking at my work, it would be so much easier. So now we're just going to go in every single one of these, just as before, all the way along. Pulling up each time. We'll stop and take stock and have a look at it soon. Just wanted to get this round completed. Just pull some more yarn. I don't like to pull too much because it tangles sometimes, and well, any yarn, if you just got it in a heap, and end up having to untangle your knots. It's no fun, especially on a tutorial. So now I'm at the corner. Make my corner in my gap. Just as before. I think this should be my last side, is it? Yes. So now, front post in every one of these. Pull it up. And just keep going. And if I said it before, if I go ahead, just pause, oops daisy, pause the video and catch up by, trying to go slow as possible. Nearly there. Okay, 2 more to do. Finish my corner. Now if this were my last round of this stitch, my last round I would chain and I would join with a slip stitch to this stitch, you know, my first chain, you know, but there's the 2 chain, there's the first one, there's the second one. So if you want, you can always try to do it that way. So I'll just join with a slip stitch. I'm not going to get it in there because I'm on camera, so I won't bother with that. I'll just do it this way. Just join with the slip stitch, and there we are. That's what it's starting to look like. As I said, it does look a little bit nicer when you have changing colour, but as you can see, it is pulling in just a little bit. So I would just make sure that you keep teasing it into the right shape. Make sure along these edges you are pulling up, but it does actually pull into its shape, but you do need to pull up your stitches. So I'll show you again on this one that I'm doing just how nice it looks when you're changing colour. It really is quite effective, but you do need to, as I say, pull it into its shape and kind of insist on it being in that shape. But I know this is what's happening at my corners at the moment, but I know once I've sewed it to its back and stuffed my pillow, it's not going to be doing that. But because of this ridge at the back, it does push it forward. It makes it want to curl, and that's partly the reason that it's doing it, because of all this. It pushes it, makes it very, very thick. So that's one good thing. At least my cushion, apart from being memory foam, will have all this padding as well, so it will be even more comfy. So what I would do on my last row, I would just do a row of perhaps UK double crochet, which is a single US, or half treble, which is a half double, just to end off and then join it to my other side, because that will give me something to anchor on to make my join. But you don't need to. You've got your stitches at the top just the same. But I really like this square. I think it looks really good. So I just wanted to share it with you. You just keep going, make it as big as you want. But I kind of like, if I get my finished, well, it's not finished, but my side has one more row and then it's finished, and then I can do my other row. But if you look, I just really like the way this ribbon kind of pulls it together, and it's just so, I just think it, once you've got a bit more of a size, it really does kind of, it's a lovely pattern. It's almost like little crisscrosses. I really like it. So thanks for watching. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll be informed when there are new videos. And if you wouldn't mind, please like and share this video. That would really help me grow my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, bye bye for now.